Well, today was an incredible day, a historic day, no doubt about it. Today, the United States recognized Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and President Trump made gave the instructions to the State Department to begin planning to move our embassy there from Tel Aviv. So, no doubt, a major historical day. I was just on a conference call from the White House where we have these regularly, but sometimes they give you some behind the scenes, just comments and all. And that, of course, I would never share anything that was meant to be confidential, but it did give some insight into the process that Trump went through before making this declaration, that the White House went through, some other things. So I wanted to have that, be on that conference call and see if there was any of that before I shared this, and there was some. I will talk about some, but Trump was resolved to fulfill his promise, which he had given to evangelical leaders during the campaign, and Jared Kushner, who has really become a point man of the administration in this effort. And he was on the call today, shared a little bit, but it's done, and there is great celebration in Israel, no doubt. They're actually calling it another miracle, and of course there are some factors there that don't like it, and they're afraid of the repercussions, and that was one of the things that was addressed on the call today, because all the warnings of all the Arab states and Hamas saying they're going to have 3 days of rage, and I think Palestinian Authority 1 day of rage, and calling for another intifada, all kinds of stuff. They go crazy over anything they feel like is beyond their control. But they are especially offended by the state of Israel, the existence of Israel. And for us to go and say not only we are absolutely committed to Israel's continued existence, but that we believe Jerusalem is their capital. It was their biblical capital. Nobody has more claim on that city than the Jewish people, by far. And I was just there a few weeks ago, and I was taken up and shown the different districts from some of the high places like the Mount of Olives and all, but some places where I was shown the land that was allotted to the West Bank and to the Palestinians and those to the Jews, and where the land allotted to the Palestinians is great land, open land, free, just empty land they could have huge developments there, but they're saying no, they don't want that. They want Israel's land, and they don't want Israel to build any more on what was their allotment and things like that. But we have to look at it. I think one of the points that came up today was that there needs to be a whole new approach to the peace process there. And President Trump said in his newscast today, he's committed to the peace process. He's committed to a two-state solution. I don't know what other entity you would use for the other state. I don't think any of them are reliable or even tend to make any sense when it comes to any kind of diplomatic negotiations. And it's, to me, over the top, both their demands and the way they go ballistic over every little thing. Of course, this is a major thing, no doubt about it. And but Jerusalem's nowhere mentioned in the Quran. They claim that it is kind of is not directly but indirectly mentioned there. But there's who could have more claim on Jerusalem as their city than the Jewish people? It's what the Bible's all about. Jesus is going to return to Jerusalem. And we're going to have a new Jerusalem, and we really need a new Jerusalem. Once you see the present one, you understand how badly we need a new one. But the old one is going to continue to have a central place in God's government over the earth. the original Jerusalem. And but anyway, also it came out that there was some dissent within the cabinet on doing this, based on possible repercussions, not on whether it was the right thing to do or not. And then the whole cabinet came into alignment, and they've really gotten behind doing this, and may still disagree with it, but they're going to do what their president is determining should be done. This was actually in an act passed by Congress in 1999, I think, the Embassy Act, where our embassy was supposed to be moved from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Then every other president has just kicked the can down the road. Well, this president said no more kicking the cans down the road. He's saying that in about everything he does. We're going to deal with these problems here and now. We're not going to pass them on. And this is an important issue that gets settled. He talked about the different allies that we have, their concerns about it. And again, he said uniformly, all of their concerns or objections were because of repercussions, not because of whether it was the right thing to do or not. And our president, I think, very courageously, very boldly, like we haven't seen in that office for a long time, said, we've got to do the right thing regardless of repercussions. And we can't let threats of repercussions determine what we do. If it's the right thing to do, let's do it. Let's get it done. And man, I am just so happy today. I know many around the world are celebrating. Many are going to curse us. There may be attacks because of this. Listen, they're going to be attacks anyway. Haven't many of you figured that out? So this is just one of the issues we've got to deal with. But I'm thankful. Here's the president that's going to be proactive, take initiative, get the job done, not pass it on because it's a hard job, a difficult one with complications or trials involved. He said, we'll face them, we'll deal with them, but we're going to do the right thing here. So anyway, I am just, again, so thankful to have such a leader in office today, and so thankful for the courage of so many to say, yeah, it's time to do this. It is really time to do this. I don't think the repercussions are going to be that great, actually. There will be they're going to stir up something for sure. I'm talking about the Palestinians and the Hamas and other terrorist organizations. They're going to do what they can to stir it up and just say just to try to impose their will but I tell you what, we've got a leadership in place now who I think is going to push back and push back hard. You push him, you see, almost everybody should have learned by now, he's going to push back twice as hard. That's just his mode of operation. He's a born warrior, not just a soldier. There are many soldiers, but not many warriors. And we've got a warrior in office right now. And he's going to fight for what he believes is right. And he's not going to be intimidated by anybody. I mean, do you see the pictures of him meeting with other leaders? There is no question who the alpha dog is. And they may say all kinds of things about him behind his back, do all kinds of stuff, but when he is present, that there's no question he's the one carrying the authority. And to most people, that's intimidating. They don't like it. They want to fight it. They fear it. But I tell you, it's the nature of the great leaders we've had in history. To some degree, they've been prima donnas. To some degree, narcissists. Whatever, there's certain elements, there are downsides to that kind of person who can be so decisive and so bold in their actions no doubt, and these are things that we need to understand. And you need to have good people around you that'll call you on some of that. But thank God, today is a day I think is going to go down in history. That is a truly historic day. The Lord promised those who blessed Israel, He is going to bless. Those who curse Israel, He's going to curse. Look throughout history at all the examples where the Lord has stood by that word. Thank you for joining me for today's rant.